Leg has gone. It's 3 on the spin for Gary Anderson, and for the first time in this tournament, Gary Anderson has started better than his opponent in the opening 4 legs.
I think Gary is sniffing an opportunity here tonight. He sees MVG out. No disrespect to Joycey at all, but he's thinking, if I haven't got to go through the green machine, I could transform my entire calendar tonight.
Well, it is astonishingly 5 180s for Gary Anderson. We are in leg 5. Nathan's at 3.
Always a good sign when you get them with the first 3 darts of the leg. When Gary is threatening 9s at the start of matches, watch out. Most of his 9 darters in his career have been very early in matches.
Look at this. This is vintage. And look, we've seen great stuff from Gary Anderson this weekend. He's got 98 tournament average, but it's not been the mind-boggling, unplayable Anderson. It's been the Anderson who could have been beaten in all of his matches.
Well, this is a chance to get closer. If he doesn't hit this, he's going to need to start digging deep and hope that Anderson makes mistakes. Brilliant. Double 16. Oh my, flashy. So many people, including us, would say the 42 tops would be the sensible way to go, but he backed himself and now he looks like a wizard.
Well, it's a harder shot, but he's pulled it off.
Makes you feel better as well. You get 42 tops, you think, yeah, great shot. You get bull double 16, you feel better.
Well, Nathan has always looked up to Anderson. He was his sort of hero in the game, and it was a kind of a watershed moment for him, beating him at the World Championship on his way to a 2nd consecutive semi-final. Nathan Aspinall, a man who seemed to the manner born, first 2 appearances at the World Championship, semi-final, beat Anderson in the 2nd campaign.
Take it from a lot of people who have been in the position that Nathan's in right now. If you're an aspiring dart player or even a great or somewhere in between, you haven't lived until you played Gary in a really good big stage match. They are very, very good fun.
I mean, well, look, you felt similar when you played Dennis Priestley at Ali Pali, didn't you?
Absolutely. These are the moments that you want to bank. You've got to work hard for them.
68.
Double 4. 4-2, and Gary Anderson is looking $1 million in this one. Nathan Aspinall came out the blocks firing with that 11 darter in the opening leg, and I'm sure he would have been thinking, I can just do to Anderson what I did to Humphries. Anderson is not having any of it.
Gary's actually doing to Nathan what Nathan did to Luke.
Kind of is.
423.
I don't know what Gary has done between the quarters and now. He said to Philip Brzezinski on the stage that he needed to polish something up. He's polished it.
The 180 counter ticks around to 9 for the match. We are in leg 7.
40.
When did it become normal to have more 180s than legs?
I'm not sure it's normal just yet.
It happens a lot.
It does happen a lot.
86.
Especially when a certain Littler's around, but he's not in this tournament. Aspinall will go to Newcastle on Thursday. Anderson won't. I think regardless of what happens tonight, he's going to have a weekend off next week to recharge. He might even have a lot more than a weekend off if he wins tonight.
Is to cut the gap to just 1 leg, which he does. Very good stuff. Fighting away Nathan Aspinall, as you would expect. Nathan Aspinall, in his opening game this weekend against Richie Edhouse, said, I've never put so much pressure on myself to win a darts match. And he said it's because of his precarious ranking. Come the World Grand Prix, he is provisionally 29 in the world. And he is way down. He was 14 grand outside of the qualifying spots on the Pro Tour list for the World Grand Prix, because his World Match Play winnings will have come off by then. If he wins this game, he's only 2 grand outside. If he wins the whole thing tonight, he's about 10 grand inside. This is a season and potentially career changer if Nathan Aspinall can turn this round and win this tonight.
Yeah, if he makes the final, he will cover the losses of Munich from 2 years ago. Do you remember when Johnny Clayton made the match play final against Nathan? He got 100,000 points for that. That covered what he was going to lose at the Grand Prix 3 months later.
Yeah. Aspinall to break and level the game at 4 apiece. It's gone in spells, this. Anderson was on top and looking $1 million. He's not dropped off that much, but it's enough to give Nathan a chance for a level game at 4 apiece.
Well, if you're going to miss it, hit the 10. He might not have the luxury of missing. He might not. And he didn't have the luxury. That is not the first time tonight that Anderson has done that. He's had a bad 5 with the first start and rescued the shot. Earlier on tonight, he had 88. Big 5, the biggest 5 you've ever seen. Then he went 51-32. Powers of recovery, and they hurt.
That's how you respond. Half a dozen 180s now for Nathan Aspinall.
140.
He's throwing everything at this game, including his body. Third dart is lurching towards the board.
Well, he said, look, yet another problem for Nathan Aspinall. He's got a problem with the shoulder, his throwing arm that he's struggling with. He is a physical wreck, and yet he still gets up and competes.
Here's the thing, Dan, when there's something wrong in the mechanics of the throw, whether it's elbow or wrist or hand, if you're grafting through an injury or a niggle of some sort, something else is engaged to compensate for that, and it's usually the shoulder.
167.
Yeah, I think we've seen that with Dirk, haven't he? Injured his leg, and then all of a sudden it led to problems with his shoulder and arm. Bullseye again for Aspinall. And this time he's closer, but still not close enough to pin it.
161.
It's on. Not for long.
137. Nathan required 20.
He knows he can't miss. The positive self-talk right now is, I won't miss. And he doesn't miss.
High quality stuff, this. The worst leg has been a 16-darter so far in this game.
Yeah, just one of them. If there'd been a cluster of 16s, you'd say a good game. One 16-darter from 9 legs. You've got a tremendous game.
81.
There's that just shoulder issue. You can see him just flexing there.
That's going to hurt in the morning. I think the first thing he's going to do when he gets back to the northwest of England is get the chiropractor on speed dial.
Yeah, and look, it will hurt in the morning regardless, but it'll probably hurt a bit less if he's got 30 grand in his pocket.
Yeah, you don't mind leaning to the right a little bit when there's 30 grand in your wallet.
95.
Got work to do. He's going to have to find a breaker throw against Anderson, and that's going to be difficult because Anderson's average is not shifting from that 107 mark. That's 14 darters every leg on average. Is he going for it? He did.
28.
Just signal to the board. A little bit right. Well, you can't move the board, Gary.
Have to be the 20s again, which is why he's moved over to the left.
59.
At least leaves the 170.
42.
Oh, this is just vintage. This is Gary Anderson at his very best. You could almost say it's Chateauneuf de Pape Anderson. This is the kind of stuff we've seen from him at the later end of European Tour events before, including an amazing final with MVG just over a decade ago.
Yeah, one that didn't go his way. But it is Ryan Joyce who awaits in the final. Now, Gary Anderson, who has dug himself out of holes all tournament, now finds himself at the top of the hole, and Nathan Aspinall is stuck in it. The Asp is the one who needs to win 3 legs on the spin, just as Anderson did to Ross Smith in the quarterfinals.
Just get the feeling that when Nathan was addressing the board there with dart 1, he might have had a twinge in the shoulder. I tell you what, it didn't perturb him though. Nathan's going to have to do to Gary what Gary did to Ross Smith.
You require 90.
That's the route. It looked like he was eyeing up the bullseye. And he was, he got nowhere near it. No option of double-double either. It'd be treble 19 for double 12. Can't get the treble, and Gary Anderson could win it.
38.
He can win it with his biggest finish of this tournament so far. Went for the top corner.
40. You require 52.
Aspinall is still breathing. If he misses, he could be underwater.
Finished well in this game so far. And that continues. It is another 5-visit leg. Gary Anderson, a hold of throw, and he's in the final to face Ryan Joyce.
97.
Finishing in this game has been splendid. 5 from 9 for Nathan. 6 from 10 for Gary. 12 maximums. Still more maximums than legs.
He had to survive match darts against Martin Schindler in a bit of a nervy end to the game earlier on this afternoon, Gary Anderson. Do we see something similar here?
Tell you what, Dan, when Gary has a bad 5, his next 2 darts are brilliant.
81.
Not this time.
92.
Still not bad, though.
Just outside of finishing range. 2 trebles for Nathan to get to a finish. All 3 would give him a real chance.
The genius of the Flying Scotsman is that he's kept 4,000 Nathan Aspinall fans seated.
82.
It's a chance, but he wasn't expecting that number to be above 100. What Nathan does now stipulates how Gary goes for that 105.
Well, it's the bare minimum. He is down to a finish, but Gary Anderson, the final is in sight. Is it 2 tops? Well, at least he didn't go out the board. He's going to come back with 3 darts in his hand and match darts at double top, unless Nathan Aspinall can conjure up the 170.
170s this week have resulted in people losing that match if you hit them. This is just to have a chance to win. Oh boy. You've got to be kidding me. Mr. 170 strikes again. That is seismic. And 4,000 Germans aren't seated anymore.
13th and final leg. Nathan
That is about as astonishing as it gets on the Euro Tour. Nathan Aspinall, the 170, gets the darts in the deciding leg of the semi. Anderson stranded on tops.
How do you compose yourself after that? That may just be the finish of the European Tour this year so far.
We had a record number of 170s in the opening European Tour event in Belgium. And there were some belters, but that is something else.
123.
The winner of this leg will be the favourite in the final. That's no disrespect to Joycey. But that will shake the Flying Scotsman to his boots.
When we've already detailed what potentially winning this title could do for Nathan Aspinall's year, and by extension career, that is a shot that he might remember for years and years and years. The knock-on effects of that could be enormous, but he has to capitalise on it.
He might remember that treble 19 as well. Look at the lead he's got. 81 points. And the throw. He would take a ton. That's a great visit.
There are big fish and there are big fish. That is a megalodon that Nathan Aspinall has just produced. It could change everything for the Asp. Ton 40 here to leave himself match darts at tops. That's the plan. He'll have to settle for a steady 60 to leave 120. Gary Anderson, what are you going to leave? What are you going to leave? What are you going to leave, Gary?
Go 18s. He thought about it, but he did the right thing. This is for a second final on the European Tour. A high single required. A tops required. Well, that's a Martin Schindler attempt at tops. He did that against Gary earlier to win the match.
Not only has he missed a match dart, Nathan Aspinall, well, he's going to have to burn a dart to get more match darts. Gary Anderson couldn't take the 164. Aspinall breathes a sigh of relief. He was meerkatting around at the back of the stage. He feared the 164. Anderson couldn't produce. To reach a Euro Tour final for just the second time in his career, the two-time major champion. Double 16.